The whole defund the police movement has sort of evolved, kind of stupidly as well. And of course, leave it up to the squad on this one. We got a couple of the members here. So we got Rashida Tlaib, brotherfucker extraordinaire. She's out there extolling the virtues of a bill that would empty federal prisons over the next decade. Sweet. Sounds fun. In an interview with Axios' Jonathan Swan, Progressive Representative Rashida Tlaib defended a proposed bill that would empty federal prisons over the course of the next 10 years. The bill, called the Breathe Act, I don't know, would put that or make that a little bit more difficult for certain communities that would have said criminals released into it. Asked the Department of Justice to draw up a roadmap for prison abolition. Why? The bill demanded the full decarceration of federal detention facilities within 10 years. Literally, okay, so there's no fancy interpretation on this one. They just want to get rid of prisons. Why? Bad people are still going to exist, okay? Society's going to have to step in at certain avenues to get rid of those sacks of shit. Otherwise, you'd have people like Daryl Brooks, the guy who decided to drive through the Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, be allowed to just get out on something stupid like $1,000 bond over and over again. And a moratorium on all new federal prisons, jail, and immigrant and youth detention construction. Fuck you. What are you going to do? Take all of the bad people and then just, I don't know, put them up in your fucking Minneapolis condo or your office in Washington, D.C.? Like, what the fuck are you going to do? 2020, Tlaib endorsed the bill amid a wave of anti-police sentiment. Of course, and you're still trumpeting it? God, you're stupid. I guess that's your brain on incest. Swan asked Tlaib whether she had wrestled with potential downsides of releasing all federal prisoners, which include drug lords and sex traffickers. No, of course not. She hasn't considered any of this shit. That's just what her ideology has led her down that path. I think everyone's like, oh my god, we're just going to release everybody. And that's pretty much what it says. That's not what I'm saying. No, that's what the bill says. I'll just go ahead and take the written word instead of your just obvious and open lies. And again, that just might be my bias. That's exactly what the bill says. Oh, Swan interjected. Oh, there you go. Yeah, but did you see how many people, oh, here we go, were mentally ill and that are in prison right now? Okay, cool. I love whataboutism. According to a study conducted by the National Research Council, 45% of federal prisoners reported some mental issues. Self-reported, or were they properly clinically diagnosed? Because I'd be very interested in that number. But most of these are not seriously debilitating, ranging from anxiety to mild depression. Yeah, probably for being caught or being incarcerated. I think that might play on the mind a little bit. In the entirety of the United States prison system, including state, local, and federal prisons, the study found that between 10 and 25% of prisoners suffer from major mental issues like schizophrenia. And again, why don't we have mental institutions opened again? I think that's something we should be looking at. Pretty sure I've talked about that before. I'm all for insane asylums. Put people in those. Make the sick people better. And if they aren't going to be rehabilitated, that's what prisons are for. However, this figure is a far cry from the 100% of the prison population which the Breathe Act would set free. Huh. Interesting. Swan pressed Tlaib on this point, noting that the bill would release not only the mentally ill, but also the fully sane. The bill actually says we're going to release everyone. No shit. In 10 years, Tlaib admitted. Oh, okay, cool. So we're not doing it like today, but for most people who are going to be alive in 10 years, you're going to have to deal with prisoners, federally convicted, people who have been convicted of crimes, sometimes dangerous crimes, back out on the street. Because reasons? I don't get it. But think about it. Who are we releasing? Everybody. God, you're stupid. There are human traffickers, child sex offenders, Swan began before Tlaib interjected. Oh, I know. Oh, okay, so clearly you just don't care. You're just pathological to the end. So do you mean that you actually support that? Oh, that you actually don't support that, okay? No, I endorse the Breathe Act. For looking at federal policies and how we incarcerate, absolutely. She's an enemy of the people. But you cannot just blanketly say, oh, look, she wants to release everyone. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you've said multiple times. God damn it, don't let her get away with this. In fact, the Tlaib-endorsed bill calls for exactly that, a point that Swan insisted upon throughout the interview. What I'm saying, Tlaib clarified, okay, this is going to be stunning and brave, is look at who's in prison now. Look at the folks who are mentally ill, who have substance abuse problems. So that's pretty tough. You can't really get substances in prison. Anyways, Swan expressed his agreement that people with these problems should be moved to facilities more suited to their needs. Yep, fair enough. But the actual, clinically diagnosed ones. Not the ones who are like, oh, I feel a little bit anxious about, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get butt fucked tomorrow. Yeah, but you gutted 6 people. Why are you asking me about criminals and the traffickers who should stay in prison? Tlaib shot back. Well, you're saying you want to release everybody. I think that's a pretty fair assessment on the thing. What I'm trying to understand is your proposal is so sweeping, it does release everyone. Oh yeah, Tlaib replied, adding that the release will happen within 10 years. Again, who gives a fuck about the time frame? You're wanting to get rid of everyone from prison. This is real life. This is something that is happening. Okay, she's unfortunately a sitting member of Congress and whatever. God damn it. She's just so fucking infuriating because I think that she's probably the worst member of the squad. AOC is just absolutely stupid and she takes a lot of the brunt on this one. But Tlaib, I think that she's smart enough to know exactly what she's doing. And she's kind of the mastermind behind all this stuff. And we all know who runs public defense for that one. Have you seen the shoulders on Cori Bush? Tlaib claimed that a majority of U.S. prisoners have mental health issues. But again, look at the numbers, stupid. Do you think all people can be rehabilitated? Swan asked. Good question, and I'm sure she's going to have a very nuanced answer. I don't think so. Oh, interesting. But I've been very clear about that. Okay, cool. Yeah, just release them. Fuck them. Who cares? However, she blamed American society for being unable to rehabilitate some of America's worst criminals. Yeah, because Charles Manson and Ted Bundy, they were definitely people that could be rehabilitated. I don't even know if our society, America's not your society. You're still Somali at heart, right? Remember, 9/11 was just a thing that some people did. I don't even know if our society would even know how to rehabilitate every single person. But shouldn't you probably get to the bottom of that before you want to start releasing everybody from prison? Whatever. But it's not very popular, okay? A lot of people are starting to come down on this because, well, the bill is just patently stupid. And I don't know, for the second time this week, we got to talk about a take by Lindsey Graham that's actually not that bad. He took to Twitter, of course. He's probably busy at the time, dressing up for his evening date. Congresswoman Tlaib has a radical proposal that would be an American form of Bastille Day in France. Ah, very good. A reference to the beginning of the French Revolution, which kicked off a decade of mob violence and state-sanctioned executions. Yes, the Reign of Terror, something that the squad would love to reinstitute, especially on American shores. They just aren't very good at history and realize that the people who were running the Reign of Terror, yeah, they kind of ended up with their heads in the basket as well. Under her plan, we would empty Americans' federal prisons and all prisoners who have been adversely affected by the coup, whatever, regardless of any crime they committed or threat they would pose to society. Oddly enough, Congresswoman Tlaib has had a tough time convincing Congress to follow her lead on emptying prisons, Graham continued. However, the Taliban jumped all over this idea when they took over Afghanistan. Oh, what a good pivot here. First thing they did was empty all the prisons, including releasing terrorists. Well, Afghans in prison. I think you're being redundant there, Lindsay. Tlaib, a progressive elected in 2018, God, it's been that long, is a part of the Squad. The group including, yes, the previously mentioned AOC, stupid Ilhan Omar, and Ayanna Pressley, and somebody else who's actually getting shit for this bill and their support for it as well. And that is, yes, I was going to say lovely, but God, I just kind of made this, okay, you guys remember the Muppets, right? Obviously, you got Kermit, Miss Piggy, and all of those, and yeah, we just talked about the rest of the squad, but she kind of looks like an Arab version of Animal. Just, do your own comparisons in your head. White House emphatically distances Joe Biden from Rashida Tlaib's proposal to end federal prisons. Yeah, that really sucks now, doesn't it? So you got stupid old unreliable Lindsey Graham calling you out for it, and then it also had Jim Clyburn, who's a little bit better from Oklahoma, also equally calling it out, but then you don't even get the support of your fucking boss. Really does suck to suck. The White House emphatically distanced President Joe Biden from the radical proposal from Rashida Tlaib to close federal prisons. Let me be absolutely clear. The president does not support abolishing prisons. Wow. That's like the firmest stance Biden's ever took on anything, at least according to Jen Psaki, said Tuesday at a press briefing after she was asked about Tlaib's proposal. Should have just said, that's fucking stupid. You might actually got some sympathy from people out there. Tlaib recently defended her proposal in an interview with Axios reporter Jonathan Swan. Wait a minute, was that? Oh, it was Tlaib. I thought it was Ilhan Omar. Anyways, that's alright. I'm sure Rashida Tlaib also fucks her brother. Whatever. Psaki also distanced Biden from efforts to defund the police, despite the president himself saying during the 2020 campaign he would absolutely consider redirecting funds from police to other social programs. That's worked so well that pretty much every single jurisdiction that defunded the police in some form or another has, if not refunded completely, overfunded what they had before, because defunding the police is, I'm sure it's a great idea in their head. It just doesn't work at all in practice. He does not support defunding the police. His campaign website would beg to differ. He thinks measures that will make us less safe, and he would not support legislation that includes it. That's good. That's good. After the 2020 election, Biden warned civil rights leaders to ease off the defund the police talking point during a private video conference that leaked to the public. Yeah, and I'm sure the leaders of Black Lives Matter are still waiting for that phone call to come down and have their thoughts and concerns heard by the Biden administration. Boy, it really does suck to back such a lame horse, but you take the good, you take the bad, and you get the Democratic Party. Unfortunately, it's mostly bad, and they want to literally release criminals. They're all fucked in the head, some to varying different degrees, but I think that's just basically politicians in general. With that said, guys, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.